Alright, Ronan MMA here. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my UFC 284 picks, predictions, betting tips, whatever, all of the above video. We're going to start from the very first fight of the night, move our way up. But before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to thank you in advance for your subscription because I'm Canadian and we're polite and that's how we do it. So I'm going to ask you to be polite back and just subscribe. Okay, I'm going to thank you in advance again. So don't be the kind of guy that doesn't do the thing he's already been thanked for. I can't enforce it the same way some old lady in a nursing home can't enforce it if you were to go steal her purse. But we don't do that kind of stuff here. So first fight of the night, Shane Young versus Blake Bilder. Okay, I'm going with Blake Bilder in this one, however you call it. Man, the guy's a fast finisher. Very fast finisher. In his contender series fight, I was a little bit bothered by his striking defense. A little bit. There's a bit to be desired there, but and I think that Shane Young could potentially capitalize on that. But I think that with Shane Young's inactivity, okay, he hasn't had a victory in 4 years. He hasn't fought in about 2. He's 28 years old, which is crazy, man, because those are good years he gave up. Those are good years for getting better, for having fights that would give you experience. You know, you could have had all types of fights against all types of opponents in that time. And while he's never been submitted, I could see Blake Bilder getting a submission here. He is a very fast finisher in his contender series fight. As soon as he had just a modicum of an opening, he jumped on the guy's back right slick and choked him out. You know, it's crazy, though, that even though Shane hasn't fought in 4 years, he's still got almost double the amount of fights as this Bilder guy, which maybe that's part of why Shane Young's taken so much time off. I don't know if he's taken too much damage or what, but I think this could be the first time Shane Young gets submitted in his pro career by Blake Bilder here, just due to inactivity and the quickness with which Blake Bilder finishes fights in. So going with Blake Bilder here. Next fight, Jack Jenkins versus Don Shanus. Dude, we're having camera issues nonstop, driving me crazy. Let me know in the comments if you know why my camera's constantly out of focus, if you think it's a lighting issue or what, but it drives me nuts. Okay. Oh, this isn't the second fight of the night. I'm sorry, my notes are all scrambled. So the next fight is Zubaira Tukhugov versus Elves Brainer. I'm going with Zubaira here, obviously. I think this is a tall order for somebody to come in on short notice. I'm not even sure if Elves Brenner, I think this might be his debut in the UFC. Don't really want to find my freaking notes here. Yeah, I think it is. Zubaira is going to be a huge favorite. I can't see them because I'm just using screenshots off my phone. But yeah, I'm going with Zubaira in this one. I just think, again, like I said, tall order. And the guy's coming in on short notice. So, yeah, it is what it is. That's probably why I didn't take too many notes on that one. Didn't necessarily need them. Cameras doesn't see me, I guess. Quite strange. Alright, Jack Jenkins versus Don Shanus. I've gone here with Jack Jenkins. Okay. 28 years old, 10-2 with 68-inch reach. He has good ground control. Had good ground control, pardon me, from half guard against Linares on his Dana White contender series fight, landing short elbows, and it did not take him long to split that guy open either. Like, this dude does not just control you for the sake of controlling you. He is constantly doing damage, and whether they're just little short body punches or they're elbows to the face, cutting you open. Unlike the Canadian Kyle Nelson, who just embarrassed himself in the last fight night. Can't stand that. He did get reversed with a leg lock attempt, but apparently has the most flexible knees on the face of the goddamn planet because his leg was twisted in all sorts of ways that, cringeworthy, made you cringe. So it was quite strange, but he was able to get out of the bad position, got up almost immediately, which I like to see, okay? He's not complacent, constantly attacking, knees from the clinch. Good timing on his takedowns, and he doesn't just grapple for the sake of grappling. He's trying to hurt you. That's what I'm saying, the knees in the clinch. I love that shit. As soon as they tie up, he starts throwing. He made Linares donate blood without his consent, so he's also a madman. I mean, Jesus. But I will say, if I could donate blood without having to get a needle, I would probably do so. So if Jack Jenkins wants to hook me up, we can do that. Yeah, I don't see Don Chanis getting it done here. You know, I know Sadiq Yusuf. I know that's a tough one for your UFC debut, but this fight honestly seems more reasonable for, like, this probably should have been a debut fight, the one that he's getting here, but man, I don't know. I don't see him getting this one done. So also, I had some more notes here. Oh, something that I don't like. What fight was it? I can't remember, but I don't like when guys, if they're like, you see this with a lot of inexperienced guys, or guys that are just really high level strikers that don't decided have not trained how to get back up to their feet. But when you're like defending a takedown or defending a guy like going for a takedown in a clinch position type shit, and you're just throwing little short shots to the legs and like over the top of your head and shit like that, I don't like seeing that, especially from a guy who's got a 12-3 pro career record. And I did see quite a bit of that from the fights that I watched of him. I can't recall specifically which one, but that kind of stuff bugs me. And it's not the same as, you know, Jack Jenkins getting you in the clinch and immediately throwing hard knees the way that he does with the tie clinch. It's like this guy he'll have a dude double unders on him with a body lock, and he's like hitting him in the thigh and shit. And it's like, no, defend what, you know what I mean? The more pressing matter. Don't be trying to, those little punches ain't doing shit, okay? Next fight, Loma Lukbunmi. I wonder if that's the name of her gym or if that's like actually her last name, because that's fucking insane. But I'm gonna go with Loma here. Obviously, she's got pretty decent leg kicks and front kicks, as we'd expect out of somebody from Thailand. She's not accepting of bad positions on the ground. Her split decision Gomez. What the fuck, dude? I need to proofread my notes. These are horrible. Oh, split Denise Gomez open. No, I don't, dude. My brain's just not reading shit correctly. She split her open pretty good, which I love seeing from female fighters, as opposed to shadowboxing Thai fighters like Michelle Watterson, who is also Thai, by the way. That's why I said that. So this lady's whole career, though, it seems is like 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins, 1 loss. And right now she's on her 1 win. So victory or history. Should history repeat itself, she will get 1 more. And no, I'm kidding. That is not why I picked her. But it is crazy to me that this lady's like a 3-1 just because it's women's MMA, dude. I mean, Jesus. You know? It's women's MMA. So, unless you got like Amanda Nunes fighting some new lady, then I understand. But I don't know. It's just strange. Yeah. Elise Reed, you know, upset the last favorite against her, though she got knocked down pretty early. She's a kind of take one to get one lady, which I don't think is going to work in her favor here. She does a good job defending and getting out of the clinch, and her opponents, her and her opponent only have one common opponent. That was what my note says. But we won't even bother with that because I've already told you my pick. So, Loma Lukbunmi. All right. Shannon Ross versus Cledson Rodriguez. Dude, I'm actually going to go with Shannon Ross here. And I know this is silly because he got a contract off of a loss. And I don't know what the odds are for this fight, but dude, he's a savage, and I don't see this guy getting a finish on him for some reason. Because, goddamn, dude. Nothing dropped this guy. And I think that Dana probably just gave him a contract so that he could strategically place him on prelims for, real crazy fights, just a couple more, because the guy's like 34 years old now. So he's got a few more years in him maybe, but guy's got good body kicks. He can fight through a ton. He did end up getting finished in his Contender Series fight, but holy shit, did it take a lot out of that opponent to finish him. Like, goddamn, that was brutal. But I think he's just going to pressure fucking Rodriguez here. He had a split decision loss his last time out against Vergara. Different style from Shannon Ross's last opponent. I feel like, yeah, man. I think he might finish him. It might be like an upset, because I think Clayton's probably the favorite because his record's better and he didn't get signed off of a loss. So, but I think Shannon Ross is going to upset, and it'll be a crazy back and forth fight, and he's going to melt, dude. Call me an idiot. That's fine. Next fight, Jamie Malarkey versus Francisco Prieto. Going with Jamie Malarkey here, dude. Okay. I'm going with Jamie Malarkey. Francisco, this is a tough fight for your first fight in the UFC. We're seeing that a lot lately. Francisco Prieto's 20 years old and 11-0. But I gotta be honest, man. This, to me, that Samurai Fight House organization or whatever it was, is not like a... I don't know all the fighters there. It could be. But it didn't seem to be the level of like a Cage Warriors or something that you would see up-and-coming fighters from like the States fighting in, you know what I mean? Francisco Prieto, when he was fighting, dude, one of the fights that I watched on YouTube, or all of them actually, the canvas looked like they had like a homemade slip and slide. Okay, when you like just lay down garbage bags, it literally looked like they had taken garbage bags, gray ones, and stretched them out far enough so that they could cover the canvas, but not even far enough that there weren't fucking wrinkles all over them. They were like all bumpy and wrinkly and shit. This guy's fighting, and it looked so goddamn amateur. There were nobody in the stands, which I get it that, we just had all that dumb shit for 3 years, but like, bro, it did not look like those opponents are going to ready you for somebody like Jamie Malarkey. And that's just me being honest. He's got a lot of first-round finishes, dude. A lot. And I don't think that he's going to come in there and get rid of Malarkey in like a minute. I just don't. He's young. It doesn't seem like he's really faced any adversity. And Jamie Malarkey is the kind of guy that'll give you adversity no matter fucking what, dude. So... again, yeah, dude, it looked like they had garbage bags. Like, it did not seem, it looked like something that I would find if I went to, like, a local MMA regional amateur fight. And I'm not shitting on the fighters that fight there. I'm just saying that I think it's going to be a different level. And, Malarkey's just a tough motherfucker, okay? And he's got way more experience fighting, better competition. And yeah, he's got some losses on his record that don't look the greatest, but that's what this kid hasn't experienced, man. He hasn't had to fight a Michael Johnson who just, for whatever reason, can beat a ton of great guys and then gets fucked up from some, like, gas station attendant, okay? Next fight, Tyson Pedro versus Modestas Bukalkas. Tyson Pedro. As the odds would suggest, because I got them in on the screenshot on this one. Tyson Pedro, dude. Modestas Bukalkas does not have the best chin. We've seen him get touched up quite a bit. And that's what I'm worried. The only note that I had written here. Savage KO power. I think we see Bukalkas get KO'd here in the first round. That's the only note I have. Because that was all I needed to know. You know what I mean? I don't need to even really go into it now. Modestas Bukalkas, maybe he can surprise everybody and get it done. But I just think that, dude, Tyson Pedro's I like Tyson Pedro. He's a savage. He looks cool as shit. And he's going to KO Modestas Bukalkas early on. All right, next fight. Milsik Bagdasaryan versus Josh Kulibayo. I'm going with Melsick and Bagdasarian. Dude's got nice striking, man. Really nice. Like, that's my favorite shit to watch is striking, because I used to kickbox. So this guy, watching him kick is just beautiful. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so much fun to watch. He pressures hard. He's just blasting kicks from the body, head, don't matter. He doesn't care if you're blocking him, dude. Because, like, when Robert Whittaker broke Jared Cannonier's arm, fine, block him. Block him. Then throw a punch, block him. They fucking hurt, dude. Don't matter if it gets you in the hand, okay? Guy's only got 2 decision wins out of all of his wins, which he's 7-1, so the rest are by KO. So he's got 5 KOs. Which I think the guy he's fighting also has 5 KOs, but it's the percentage that's impressive, right? 5 out of 7 is pretty good. He's only lost by sub, which his opponent, I say here, has 0 wins by submission. And perhaps Josh Kulibayo just doesn't like to use submissions, and maybe he's going to jump all over one today because he's not going to enjoy getting kicked in the body, leg, and head. But I just don't see him as much of a submission threat. All of his wins, most of his wins, come by, he's got decisions and decisions and KOs. So both of these guys are pretty new to the UFC. He may just want to hug legs like Kyle Nelson. I'm not going to let that go. Disgraceful Canadian. Also, he's from Ontario, so. But, yeah, dude, I'm thinking that Melsick Bagdasarian's going to get this one done. I'm thinking he's probably going to KO him as well, which I will thoroughly enjoy watching because it will probably be a very nice knockout. The guy is good, man. Moving on. Justin Toffa versus Parker Pork. Yeah. That's what his name should be, dude. Parker Porker. Because he's a fat peg. Okay. Both of these men are morbidly obese. I'll start with that. Justin Toffa missed fucking weight in one of his fights that I watched. I think it was his last opponent. God damn, dude. How you missing weight when we got guys like Derek Lewis making weight? Come on, bro. When I watch him fight, and not just because he's Samoan, I get like Mark Hunt-ish vibes, but he's a little less technically skilled, obviously, because Mark Hunt's actually like fucking world-class kickboxer. He does not beat the best competition, right? And I don't like to shit on guys too hard because I'll get whiny biatches in my comments asking me if I fought and shit like that, but he lost to Jorgen De Castro, and I know that Jorgen De Castro right now is on a win streak, but at one time he was on a 3-fight losing streak, and one of those losses were to Greg Hardy. I will never forgive any fighter in the UFC that lost to Greg Hardy. Never. Okay? Never. So, I'm angry at that. So if you give this guy lower level competition, first round KO. Okay, so that's how it goes. Parker Porter, morbidly obese, got knocked out by Chris Daukaus. What are we doing, dude? You can't be getting knocked out by Chris Daukaus, because he just got cut from the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure both them brothers did. And yeah, Chris Daukaus looked slick in that fight, man. But did he look that slick after? No. Parker Porter, no bueno. He's going to get KO'd, I reckon, in the first round. Okay? Because he's... Yeah, that's why I think. I mean, it could go the other way. I could be wrong here, but I reckon Justin Toffa is going to get this one done. Got a home turf advantage. He's going to be all hyped. Bam Bam will probably be in the crowd hyping boys up. So, it is what it is. Parker Porter's 12-7, my guy. Justin Toffa's 5. Neither is very impressive. I will say that, but I think we'll get a first or second round KO by Justin Toffa. Probably first round. Dude, Parker Porter's 37 years old, so we're getting up there. I didn't even write Justin Toffa's age, but I think he's younger than that. Could be wrong. Next up, Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menafield, dude. I really wanted to pick Jimmy Crute here because I like Jimmy Crute quite a bit. I like all the Aussies, but I want to remind everybody that the Jimmy Crute sub Paul Craig, my guy. So give him the belt right now, okay? Because that's nuts. Paul Craig subbed fucking Magomed Ankalaev, who everybody dick rides, and the current champion Jamal Hill. Now, I will say, his loss to Misha Serkinov has not aged very well. And Jimmy Crute's whole shit is supposed to be grappling. Right. The reason I'm picking Alonzo Menafield in this fight is because Jimmy Crute, dude, should be taking dudes down and subbing them the way that he subbed Paul Craig, who's like one of the best submission grapplers in the light heavyweight division, but he likes to stand for a little bit too long and then gets hurt. And like, he was looking good in the Anthony Smith fight on the feet, to be fair. And then just one perfect leg kick had his, finished his shit, which was unfortunate. It was shitty. That was an actual perennial nerve issue. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, not what Israel Adesanya says is a perennial nerve issue, and not what Joe Rogan and Paul Felder pushing that fucking narrative say. That was not a perennial nerve issue. He got checked. And Joe Rogan likes to go back and say, oh, no, I watched that fight multiple times, and I saw it in the first round. His legs fucked since the first round. It's quite strange that he was able to move perfectly fine through rounds 2, 3, 4, and the vast majority of round 5, but that's okay. I think, though, that if Jimmy Crute decides to shoot for a takedown, it'll probably be because he's hurt. And I think that Alonzo Menafield's got ginormous fucking legs, okay? The guy's walking on 2 fridges. It's very, very, very strange. He's got... They're massive, okay? I don't think Crute's going to be able to take his power. And, Alonzo Menafield's not the most technical. But, maybe Crute comes out here and starts chopping away at the legs, takes him down. I kind of want him to, dude. I want to be wrong here because Jimmy Crute's younger. And what I don't like is when older dudes that are probably on the cusp of retirement set younger dudes back, which it's fine because if I also don't like seeing Shogun getting finished in his last fight, but I think there are better matchups that can be made when it comes to shit like that for retirement fights, but that's just me. But Jimmy Crute's just had pretty bad luck, man. He's been away for a while. I don't think he's got the best fight IQ. But he does when he gets hurt, and that's what I'm saying. I think when we see him shoot, because I think he likes standing a little bit too much, is in his fight with Anthony Smith. As soon as his leg got fucked up, he was still able to take Anthony Smith down, which was pretty impressive, and control him for the rest of the round. So he could do that, theoretically. But will he? I don't know. And Alonzo Menafield, if he lands one big punch, bro. Good night. So that's what I'm going. Okay, now I'm excited. Now we excited, bro. Jack Della Maddalena. I'm more excited for watching this guy fight than I am for, the main event, if I'm being quite honest. The co-main event will be fucking insane, thankfully, because of Yair Rodriguez. And I guess a little bit of the bridge troll, but, dude, Jack Della Maddalena is so fucking clean with the hands. He's nice with it, boy. Huge favorite most of the time. And then shows us exactly fucking why he's a huge favorite. He earns these favorite numbers. This guy is fucking legit. Randy Brown will probably give him a little bit of issues at first. So it might be a late first or second round KO or TKO, or maybe we get a crazy fucking fight of the night type shit, but I don't see that because man, it's a perfectly placed feature fight. That's what I will say. Perfectly placed feature fight. I don't think that Randy Brown has the capabilities to get this one done. He could theoretically sub him or something. Jack Della Maddalena's got pretty damn good takedown defenses. A lot of those Aussies seem to have, like Robert Whittaker, but this one's God damn, dude, I can't read. So he's got some good wins on his record. You know, Luque is fantastic, good fighter. So getting KO'd by him ain't the worst thing in the world. Nico Price is a dog, but he should not be knocking you out if you are a younger, up and coming prospect, because Nico Price could knock out an old cowboy. He beat the shit out of Cowboy and lost because he couldn't stop eye poking, or got a draw because he couldn't stop eye poking. But Nico Price shouldn't be knocking you out. That's all I'm saying. You know, Nico Price is fun. He's a dog. I like him, but he probably should not be knocking you out. Nico Price has nowhere near the striking capabilities of Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena's combinations are so fucking clean, dude. Like, they're unbelievably perfect. I think it might be a first-round KO. I'm hoping so, because I love watching Jack Della Maddalena do work, boy. And I want to see him fight the, upper echelon of the division, because I think it would be quite interesting. Okay, co-main event time, motherfuckers. Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. I am picking Yair Rodriguez because I don't like Josh Emmett. I'll preface this whole segment, I do not like Josh Emmett. I'm a Josh Emmett, not quite a hater, but I'm just not a Josh Emmett fan, dude. And partly because he looks like the bridge troll from Dora the Explorer, especially now that he's grown out his orange beard. He looks fucking identical. Google it. You're welcome. But I think that he could have lost his last two fights, guys. He could have lost his last two fights. Now, I want to hear from you guys in the comments if you think that he actually legitimately beat Calvin Kattar and legitimately beat Dan Ige, because I feel like those fights could have easily gone to his opponents. I feel like he hits arms more often than not, because you see against guys like that weren't top of the division, right, that he's getting KOs against. It's like, yeah, okay, he's got power, obviously, and he can find the shots. But then as soon as he starts fighting dudes that are more top level, are gonna have better striking defense, and obviously I know that, like, the further you get up the rankings, the harder it's gonna be to get finishes. But with a guy that's got that kind of power, that means that in like 5 rounds against Calvin Kattar, he couldn't hit him clean. And I know Calvin Kattar's got a ridiculous chin, but it seems to me like Josh Emmett cannot hit guys cleanly at the upper echelon, because otherwise we should be seeing KOs theoretically. And I know that Dan Ige's tough, and I know that Calvin Kattar's tough. But Dan Ige also just had a pretty tough fight against a guy that he should not have had a tough fight against. I picked Damon Jackson because I don't really believe in Dan Ige's abilities. I think that he got lucky, got a lucky decision with the Edson Barboza fight, and then I think maybe karma decided, now we're gonna take this one from. But like, he's not top 5 material, in my opinion. People may disagree with that, but that's fine. And Josh Emmett goes to a fucking razor close split decision that he probably could have lost. And then same again with Calvin Kattar. And Calvin Kattar is very good. He has very good boxing. I love watching him fight, but we've seen what the upper echelon of the division does to him. And I know that Max Holloway's different. But if you watch like Yair Rodriguez's fight with Max Holloway compared to Calvin Kattar's fight with Max Holloway, yes, Yair, as Chael would say, for some fucking reason, because there's not 2 R's. Yair did take a lot of damage, but he also dished a lot out. Like, Max Holloway did not look clean at the end of that fight. And to be fair, he didn't look clean at the end of the Calvin Kattar fight. But it was the numbers, the gap were massive. And honestly, dude, I feel like Josh Emmett's here because of not only those split decision wins going his way, but because Uriah Faber never shuts the fuck up. Uriah Faber was calling for him to get a title shot after the Shane Burgos fight. Huh? What? Say again? Why? I couldn't believe it. And I hate that shit, dude. It's cringy. And I get it that he's like, trying to get a good opportunity for his boy and all that jazz, but Josh Emmett's 37 years old. He's got a decent record. He's 18-2, should be 16-4. In my opinion. Let me know if you think I'm wrong in the comments. I don't think those are hot takes, man. If you go back and rewatch it, he hits a lot of arms. Yair Rodriguez is a fucking beast. He's 7 years younger. The fights that he loses are very close and very competitive. And this might also be another hot take, but first of all, the amount of damage that he did to Holloway is impressive because we've seen that only one dude can really fuck him up, and that's Volkanovski. And if I'm being quite honest, dude, Holloway should be in Josh Emmett's spot. Or Arnold Allen even. He's ahead of him in the rankings. But, whatever. We're going to work with it here, okay? Okay, so... Oh, yeah. In the Max Holloway fight, he broke his foot. He kept throwing. Dude's savage. And also, this might be a hot take. This is what I was going to say. Let me know if you disagree. Brian Ortega downplaying the injury as if it was some freak accident and, like, going up to Yair Rodriguez's family after the fact and, like, apologizing that they didn't get a fight and shit like that is cringe as shit. Yair Rodriguez caused that injury. That's all I must say. Or it was at least, if Yair Rodriguez did not directly cause that injury, Yair Rodriguez placed Brian Ortega in a position where Brian Ortega panicked and ripped his arm out and then fucked up his shoulder. That seems to me like a legit win for Yair Rodriguez. And Yair was also piecing him up pretty good. But, yeah, man. Yair's a mean dude. Mean dude. And he's another guy who I love watching kick. And also, they made him look 40 on that fight poster. It was quite strange. Like, with his beard and all his scar tissue. Goddamn, dude. Guy's aging like a fucking grape. Okay. And I wrote 0 notes for this next one. And we're at 33 minutes. So that's fucking awesome. I was trying to keep it quick. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Dude, I wish I had the big giant Aussie balls that Volkanovski had so I could pick him. I don't think I can pick him. I think I have to pick Islam Makhachev. Here's the reason. So if I was Alexander Volkanovski trains with Craig Jones, right? Craig Jones has been in his corner the last few times. Probably a big reason or a big part of how he was able to defend against Brian Ortega on the ground so well. If you don't know who Craig Jones is, he's a very, very, very high level no-gi jiu-jitsu grappler, right? And the joke is that he's like the second best in the world because there was a time when him and his former teammate Gordon Ryan would create the fucking hammer, dude, would get to the finals and he could never beat Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan would sub him like real quick. And but so anyway, it was extremely high level. Volkanovski's been training with him quite a bit. I wonder if, let me know in the comments if you know this. Did Volkanovski and his team end up moving to the US? Because I remember during the, lockdowns, Volk on Joe Rogan's podcast was pretty critical about, like, they can't train, they can't work, they can't do their shit, so they're moving to the US because of how ridiculously strict Australia was with their lockdowns. I don't know if he ended up moving or stayed permanently or if they went back to Aussie, but let me know if you know that because that's going to make a big difference, I think, because like Islam said, Australia is no wrestler, brother. Volkanovski being training partners and friends with Craig Jones, if I was him, dude, and I'm not saying that he should listen to me. This is just what my thinking went to. I would have been like, Craig Jones, bring me Nicky Rodriguez. And if you don't know who Nicky Rodriguez is, he is another very high level no-gi jiu-jitsu grappler. They called him the black belt slayer because when he had a blue belt, he was subbing black belts. Because he's a freak fucking athlete with wrestling credentials. He's ginormous. He's like as big as Gordon Ryan. He just gave Gordon Ryan a tough matchup. Gordon's accusing him of greasing, dude. I honestly think that's fucking cope, because that's just so cringe, dude. They get felt. When you're walking into the cage, the ref, whatever. Anyways, he took Gordon Ryan to overtime, which is not typical. Camera won't focus. I'm just going to keep going. I don't give a shit, 'cause this is a long video. Made Gordon Ryan go to overtime. Not a lot of guys can do that. Gordon Ryan's usually fucking subbing dudes in like 10 seconds. So he's like probably 270 pounds at least. He's a giant dude, heavyweight. I would have been like, Craig Jones, bring me him. Thank you. I want to be drilling wrestling defense, takedown defense, get-ups with him on me. And I know that people are going to say, well, he's not the same kind of grappler that Islam is. He doesn't have the same level of grappling. Fine. The size might make up for it. A little bit, right? If you've got a guy that's like 280 pounds dragging on you while you're trying to get back up, dude, that's going to give you a fucking workout. And then when you get in there against Islam, you're going to be like, oh, this guy's not that big. He's not that big. Yeah, done. He's not that big. I can cook. He's there. I'm going to cook him in. He's done. That's what Volk's gonna. I don't know if he's in the U.S. or not, because Nicky Rodriguez and Craig Jones are based out of Texas, Austin, Texas. Another reason why I would be open to picking Alexander Volkanovski is because his only fucking loss ever was a very long time ago at welterweight outside of the UFC, because a 5'6" on a good day guy shouldn't be fighting at welterweight. He got head kicked by a much taller opponent, obviously. Now, Islam says he's going to KO him. I wish I could know that what Islam's saying is truthful there, that he's going to stand and trade and try to knock out Volkanovski, because if I knew that, I would pick Volk. The things, though, that Volk has going against him, dude, is that I know he got the Korean Zombie finish, but it wasn't like a KO, right? It was a TKO. He battered him until the ref went, fuck this. He beat the brakes off of Max Holloway, and yes, Max Holloway can't, you can't say that you don't have power because you couldn't knock out Max Holloway, because he doesn't ever fucking get knocked down, but the last time we've seen him really, like, stop a guy like that is Chad Mendez, and body shots had a lot to do with that. So that's the thing that for Volkanovski, if I'm looking at, like, who could finish, there is a world where I see Islam knocking him out. We saw Islam drop Charles, and I know Charles gets dropped against everybody, but when Charles gets dropped a lot of the times against certain guys, I feel like it's kind of like he's baiting them, because he just falls so nicely right on his back and then lays there immediately, legs up, arms behind his head, just like, hey, come on. Whereas versus Islam, he got subbed right away, which means he was probably fucking hurt, dude, because his sub defense went out the window. He got subbed quick. It wasn't like, I don't think, look, anything could happen. They're full-grown men fighting, full-grown men fighting in a cage with 4-ounce gloves, and they're going to be swinging at each other and all this shit. So Volkanovski there is a world where he knocks out Islam. There is that world. And Islam's been knocked out before also. But, man, I'm going to pick Islam, but here's what I will say. I'm picking Islam. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think Volk's going to be easy for him. I think he thinks it's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be like a Dan Hooker, I go Kimura him in fucking 1 minute. Or like a Bobby Green or whatever. I don't think it's going to be like that. Volkanovski is a big dude. Despite being a midget, he's a big dude, okay? He's broader. I want to see this. Does he have the reach advantage? Because he does have the reach advantage on a lot of guys that it looks like he shouldn't. Like Islam Makhachev has a 70-inch reach. Volkanovski's got a longer reach than that, I'm almost positive. And it's not because he's got insanely long arms. Why do they give it to me in fucking centimeters, bro? Get real. 71-inch reach. He's got a longer reach than Islam. That's not because he's got ridiculously long arms. It's because of how fucking broad he is. For a guy that's 5'6", to have a 70, almost a 6 foot reach, means he's got like a 5-inch ape index, which means he's a fucking Neanderthal who should have been born when Neanderthals were born. Okay? So he's going to be a lot harder to take down. Plus, he's got giant legs. Giant legs. Giant short legs, which are not easy for trips. Not necessarily. And the dude's strong as fuck. And he got out of some of the worst positions you could possibly be in against Brian Ortega. And I know that Islam's different. Different kind of strength. Different kind of subs even. Like, you know, with Islam, I feel like a lot of guys are tapping quick because they're like, yeah, I'd rather not have my arm snapped, right? Because those Kimuras are nasty breaks, and I wouldn't want that either. But I'm going to pick Islam Makhachev. But I'm going to say this. I will not be surprised if Alexander Volkanovski wins. I will not be surprised. And I will feel like an asshole for not picking him. Because he is fucking good. Okay? He's really good. And if Islam gets cocky, confident, whatever, tries to stand with him, he'll get his leg chopped apart. Takedowns won't come as easy. And Volkanovski might be able to just, like, dance his way to a decision, whether people like it or not. So, that'll be it. We went 42 fucking minutes. That took way too long. I apologize for that. You can skip through as much of this video as you'd like, which you're not going to see until the very end, so whatever. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ronin MMA. Subscribe. I thank you in advance. Thank you very much. Don't be the kind of guy who... Fuck, it doesn't matter. My camera's fucking up. See y'all later. Bye-bye.